From selling out arenas to becoming a fairly lucrative career, esports are absolutely sweeping the nation. While fans cannot be in attendance due to pandemic precautions, the competition lives on, and we're here to break it down, what you need to be on the lookout for in the esports world this weekend on this webisode edition of Unpeeled. Welcome inside another Unpeeled webisode. I'm your host, Liam Crowley, alongside our esports expert, Lucas Vogel. Lucas, I know I just put a ton of pressure on you with that title, but with all that being said, how's it going?
I'm doing well. I think esports expert's a bit much, but hopefully I can live up to the title.
I have no doubt you will. You clearly know your stuff, but I got to ask very broadly to start things out, what are esports and what exactly is being played right now?
Yeah, so for those who don't know esports, it's definitely like a newer thing. It's similar to soccer or the NFL or the MLB, all these leagues. It's basically professional video games. And so it covers a whole range of video games. Counter-Strike Global Offensive is a big one. I know that League of Legends is the biggest one, and that's the one happening right now. So League of Legends, it's a 5v5 MOBA style type of game. And right now is the League of Legends World's Championship. So that's usually the biggest esport of all time. Every year, it's through the fall. It's always the biggest. This is the 9th. It's been going on since 2011, and there's been so many victors crowned, so many storylines, Korea's dominance, China's resurgence. So coming into this, there was obviously a lot to be excited about. 22 teams gunning for that title, but only one can get it, and we're down to 2.
Wow, so a lot to look out for this week, and essentially what you're talking about is like the Super Bowl of esports happening right now,
Definitely.
Which is fascinating to watch. But obviously a lot has changed with 2020, the pandemic precautions all being in place. So with COVID, how did League of Legends adapt with plans? I know it's a video game league, so essentially they're able to play online and not in person, but you can't have fans in attendance for these big spectacle events. So what's changed with COVID-19 in place?
Yeah, so when COVID first dropped back in March, everyone was worried. How is League of Legends, how's esports in general going to adapt? And so for the summer split and the spring split, which is like the regular season, both of them went completely online for all of the regions in League of Legends, which was a huge blow. Fans bring so much to League of Legends. They're an integral part to the game. So it was so different not hearing the fans cheering on when there were big plays happening. But with the World's Championships, people were wondering how they were going to do it. It is in person, but there's no fans. So luckily with in person, you get to see all 5 teammates sitting next to each other. They're both facing each other. It's still very exciting, but there's no fans. However, there's one stipulation. With the grand finals, that will actually have fans, all social distanced, similar to the NFL, how they're doing it, or NCAA football. With that being said, people are worried obviously about the viewership of it. Is it going to drop? Is it going to climb? And let me tell you, it has only climbed. You're looking at 2.7 million viewers at the biggest game with an average viewership of 1 million viewers per game, according to ESCharts.com. And there's an average viewer up 35% on the 2019 World's Play-In stage. That's according to SportsProMedia.com. So you may be thinking, 2019, was it an off year for the World Championship? No, it was not. That was the biggest esport of all time. So this is looking to break numbers. This is looking to be the biggest anyone's ever seen, and it's been exciting.
Wow, so you mentioned it. It's breaking records. It's setting new viewership numbers every single day. And obviously this is like the playoffs, the Super Bowl, if you will, of esports. So there's got to be stuff going on, storylines, massive comebacks, great games in general. What has been going on in this tournament that's been catching fans' eyes?
Well, everyone's been incredibly excited about a number of things. People were really excited about North America going into the tournament. They thought that going into these tournaments. Can they bring it around? And let me tell you, no, they could not. Oh my goodness. All three North American teams weren't able to make it out of even the group stage. A combined 6-12 record, the worst combined record of all 4 major regions, just blown out of the water. All of these teams spending millions on their players, spending millions on these teams, these facilities they're training at, only to not make it out of the group stage. It's unbelievable, and it's unacceptable. Honestly, North American fans deserve more than this. I know that I deserve a little more than this. However, that being said, North America aside, we're looking at China as the big things. China, going into this tournament, looked like the easy favorites. They had teams like Top Esports, JD Gaming. Both of these teams just dominated each respective split in China, and they looked like they would just take the competition. However, dark horse alert, Suning Esports, coming into it as the 3 seed in China, grew, and they've beaten everybody. They've beaten number 1 G2, which is the EU seed. They beat like I said, Top Esports and JD Gaming, and they're all the way to the finals now, an unbelievable run. And finally, my last point, Dam1 Gaming coming through for Korea. Korea hasn't made the finals in 3 years, and now they're back on the top, back to the champions they deserve. Well, hopefully we'll see about that, I guess. But they've made it to the finals, an unbelievable run for them.
So Suning Esports, that's the dark horse to look out for.
That's
Maybe
them.
an upset on the horizon. So we know you're an esports expert. I know you're a little hesitant to take the title at the beginning. You've proved it with your answers so far. So I got to get your expert prediction. Who's walking away from this tournament with the crown?
So if you're putting money on this game, you're looking at Dam1. Dam1 has lost 2 games this entire tournament, which is unprecedented. They've looked dominant in every single game. They 3-0'd. It's a best-of-5 format. In the knockout stage, they 3-0'd to the number 2 seed of Korea, and they 3-1 to the number 1 seed in Europe, who had just made it to the finals last year. They've looked as dominant as ever. Honestly, I can't see maybe even Suning taking a game off of them. They look unbelievably dominant. And look at that team. Of course they're dominant. Showmaker, Nuggery, Canyon, Ghost, all of these players are top 5 in their respective positions. And a lot of them, especially Nuggery and Showmaker, in my opinion, probably number 1. I mean, these players are incredible. This is like the Golden State Warriors of League of Legends teams. It's unbelievable what they bring to the table. However, look at Suning. That is such a good storyline. I can't speak enough about how fun that team is. It's just kind of like a Isle of Misfit Toys type team. You know, they're in their AD carry, Huang Feng. He came from not having any parents. He had to grow up himself, you know, kind of raise himself, playing League of Legends whenever he could when school wasn't in, and he's made it to the top, to the biggest stage in esports, and he's made it as one of the best players on the team. It's unbelievable what that team has, so I'm hoping Suning, but if I'm putting money on that game, it's Dam1 all the way.
Wow, well, I mean, talk about a Cinderella story. I mean, I'm no esports expert myself, but I can liken that to the NBA with Jimmy Butler making it to the finals this year with the Miami Heat and knowing his difficult upbringing to get to the NBA in the first place. So like any other sports leagues, there is an off season. And so there are, you know, a time off, months off in between when this tournament ends and the start of the next season. So after the tournament, what's still going to be happening in esports? What can we look forward to until the spring split?
Well, like you said, once Worlds ends, I think we're all going to be a little sadder. But there's still stuff to look forward to. You know, if you're looking at North America, you're looking at the Honda Scouting Grounds on the 14th of November. That's kind of a tournament style for new players looking to get into the scene. And after the tournament ends, there's a drafting stage where all these LCS teams, which is the North American League, can look to pick a player and have them be maybe the next star. And let me tell you, for North America, after such a disappointing Worlds performance where they're bringing in all these big name players and they're just not performing, maybe it's young players that will be the future. I mean, that's what people are saying. So that's the hope. Definitely keep a lookout for that. And then after that ends, you're looking at free agency. This is, you know, gearing up to be one of the biggest free agencies maybe of all time. I know that's a bit of a large statement, but wow. If you look at these teams, Team Liquid is looking to completely disband their roster after they almost made it to the knockout stage. They just re-signed their mid laner, Jensen, for 3 years, $4.2 million. It's unbelievable. It's the biggest contract in esports history for the LCS. And then they're looking at bringing in one of the best European top laners in Alfari. They're looking at bringing in the FlyQuest jungler, one of the best junglers in the LCS in Santorin. You look over at the EU side, you're looking at Perks, maybe leaving G2. He's been the face of G2. And then joining the rivals in Fnatic. I mean, that's unbelievable. So just a lot of really exciting things going on. I think that, you know, even with Worlds ending, I think we're all a little sad, but there's still so much to look forward to, so I'm excited.
So it sounds like we're going to get a lot of shakeups in the offseason, a lot of things changing. And if there's one thing I love when it comes to analysis and speculation, it's got to be when stuff changes in the offseason. We got to be on the lookout for that in the future, but that's all the time we have for you on this webisode of Unpeeled. Be sure to keep a lookout for another webisode dropping this weekend where myself and Yao wants to analyze what Khabib's retirement means for the future of the UFC. For Lucas Vogel, I'm Liam Crowley. We'll see you next time.